So this is a short story. It's kind of an important one, and it's something that we need to be aware of because think of the kids. We haven't.
Safer.
Yeah, I get it.
Save the world.
So we have an alarming report from Dayton, Ohio, regarding the rise of unintentional marijuana ingestions among children. Health officials say that since the legalization of adult use recreational marijuana in Ohio, cases have skyrocketed by nearly 600%. A new report from Dayton Children's Hospital indicates that emergency visits due to accidental cannabis consumption in kids have surged by 571% from 2019 to 2023. Just this year alone, the hospital has reported 66 cases, with 13 occurring since the recreational sales began in August. Abby Pettiford, Injury Prevention Outreach Supervisor at Dayton Children's, warns that edible marijuana products can resemble regular candies, posing significant risk to children. She advises parents to keep cannabis products securely stored and out of reach. So this is not an issue that's necessarily about dispensaries or access. This is not something that should prohibit access to people who need it. This is about watching your kids, you guys. This is about us as an industry making sure that we're not making something that is going to confuse a young child, right? And this is really about making sure that you are parenting appropriately. I'm not going to judge your parenting, but if your kids ate a whole bunch of edibles while you weren't looking, and those are small children, then I'm questioning where you put those. So as we kind of see more access and see more products being available, we didn't see a bunch of kids. It's really hard for a child to accidentally roll up a joint and smoke it, right? It's not very hard for a child to be like, I'm hungry. What's that? So just be aware, make sure that your kids are educated on what not to touch. My son knows that there are things that you don't mess with. My kid's never going to go pour a glass of wine in my kitchen. Why? Because he knows that's mommy's juice, not his. So just be aware and pay attention to what your children are doing, you guys, because no, is it going to kill the kids? Definitely not. But it is going to cause some really scary situations for you as a parent, and it could get some agencies involved in your home that you don't want there. So just be aware and pay attention, be vigilant parents. Throw it back to you guys.
What about the kids? It's always what about the kids?
Say the cheering.
Isn't it time for our annual Halloween that there's weed and fentanyl and razor blades and all the candy stories?
Right. Yeah, you know.
I'm surprised we haven't heard one this year. I do agree with the propaganda scare. You're right about that, Matthew.
And I miss it, you guys. Watch out, you guys. There's weed in the candy.
Yeah.
You know.
I hope so.
And it's usually coming out of these cops too. Maybe it's because the police union is torn this year of who they want to support.
There was a story today about in Wisconsin about a pizza parlor that apparently had tainted pizza.
Oh my God! I'm not
sold
touching
it to customers for 4 days. For 4 days, health officials said.
Was there a gate in front of this pizza parlor?
No. I see what you did there. No, there was no mention of any gates in relation to this story. But I just find it, just crazy how they, because this story was about a health organization, and coming out and saying this and saying how that it's all tainted was the language that they were using. Instead of
I threw a medicated pizza party for an ex one time for his birthday, and it was great. People were high for like 4 days.
You should have seen all the side effects. All the side effects, still none of them were as bad as what you see on pharmaceutical commercials.
The side effects were they wanted more pizza.
They didn't mention that as a side effect, Jenny Beth.
I bet they still wanted more pizza.
I mentioned dizziness, lethargic, all kinds of different.
Hungry, happy, sleepy. Cat Williams told us a long time ago. Hungry, happy, sleepy.
What do you think about this, Dr. T? They just gaslighting us?
Shout out to Candescent.
I think. Are you on mute, Dr. T?
I'd like to look at the numbers just so we know if an increase in 600% can be one person going to 6 people. So I just like to look at the raw numbers to see what they're, where they're getting this, and then the consequences of children ingesting cannabis does not seem to be as serious as children ingesting other pharmaceuticals. So I'd pay attention more to you locking up your ibuprofen and Tylenol and aspirin for your child's safety.
That's fair. And the numbers were they're reporting 66 cases this year so far.
There you go.
Which is kind of a lot. I mean, that's kind of a lot when we're talking about kiddos, you know. And I agree with you that if my kid eats my bottle of Advil, it's going to be way worse than him eating my gummies, right? But I don't know. I just think that we should be a little more vigilant, pay a little more attention to what your kids are doing. Maybe don't let screens raise your children. Send them outside to play. Watch. Be involved. You know, I'm sitting here on the show emailing my kid's teacher. Pay attention.
Cages are better at raising children than screens.
Well, I mean, so, you know, we're talking about 66 people, 66
Not a
kids,
lot.
66 kids. There's 11.8 million people in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, not a lot.
Not a lot, not a lot of cases. I
This
wonder.
is propaganda.
I'd like to see a comparison. I'd like to see a comparison. This compared to like incidents with how many cases kids get into pharmaceutical drugs or even under the sink household cleaners and things like that. I'd like to see some kind of comparison on that in relation.
I mean,
to
I
this.
appreciate the fact that they weren't saying, hey, cannabis is bad. This is cannabis's fault. This woman's just saying, hey, heads up, this is happening. Try to secure your stuff out of reach.
So you're saying that this story is
PSA
more fair
I'm
and
just
balanced than what we're used to seeing out there, Jenny Beth?
I do. I think it's a little bit more fair and balanced. I totally understand. And Jason picked my story today because I was a little sleepy. But, you know, I think that it's worth saying, hey, PSA, parents, pay attention to your kids. We shouldn't have to say, parents, pay attention to these humans that you laid down and created on purpose or otherwise, but created. This is your job.
600%. I just feel like just the 600% is just like, you know.
Propaganda.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. T.
Tain't no thing.
Maybe they're trying to scare the parents into locking their shit up.
I mean, I'm not, you know, you gotta do something.
What was that scared straight phenomenon? This
You know, once the pendulum, you know, gets closer to the middle again, maybe we can bring back shows like Scared Straight again.
Scared Straight was pretty good.
I know. It's, You know, we got this woke FCC these days. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
holding us back.
well, don't worry.
Boy.
You got a few more days of that.
A few more days for freedom to unleash these wild, rabid police on the streets.
Stop this propaganda.
I think it was a great story. Thank you for covering this, Jenny Beth. And I apologize for redoing your story. I was not given a heads up.
That's okay. The head honcho should have caught that one.
Yeah. Small hands.
Sorry, guys.
You don't catch much.
I dropped the ball. Sorry.
But
Not
thank
as
you
tiny
all.
Trump-like hands.
Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. You can always catch us live weekdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans for getting their comments posted live on the big screen and announced by the team. And there was none today, so I have to say that I'm very sad. Big love
Rico
to
came
all of
into
our
work for
live
nothing.
audience members and online supporters catching us across all media platforms. Tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. To our vetted correspondent team, tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping our lights on and AV struggles to a minimum, and the lights are bright today. Must take a lot of energy for that, man. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you too, baby girl. And it has been Friday, October 25th, 2024. Show's over. You all been blessed with the top industry headlines for this week. And I hope it was enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until Monday. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. And today, who should we pop it out to, man? Who are we gonna give it to?
What's that?
Who are in the outro today? Who are you gonna give it to?
Who said me?
MSG.
The only female voice.
MSG, the only female voice. Today, I'm going to identify as a woman. Benny, now you're a man. Here we go.
I got bigger nuts than half this show. It's all right.
Oh, wow.
Hot. I'm going to keep it simple with, guys, reject fear, embrace love. Look at the messages you see, look at the messages you broadcast. Figure out, are they based on fear or are they based on love?